so much for doing this. This is sick.
Of course, man. Happy to do it. Happy to chat.
Hell yeah. So I guess to kick things off, we'll just kind of jump straight into it. We don't have any like prelude or anything, but I do want to
All
talk
good.
about you coming back to Australia, 25
Yeah.
years of noise tour with your friends and real friends. Talk to me about that. Are you stoked?
Very stoked. It's been a while since we've been to Australia. It's been
Mm.
a even longer time since we've headlined. Because the
Right.
last time we were there with Amity, which is a great
That's right.
tour. They treated us so good, man. Their whole camp, just first class. But yeah, to be able to come back and do this really extensive
Hmm.
or kind of celebrating our entire career is really special. And yeah, I'm really glad that it worked out, because for a minute there, it was like, okay, we're doing this tour, we're going all over the world, and we're going to not come to Australia.
Mm.
Like for a minute, it looked like we might not be able to squeeze you guys in,
Right.
and thank God we did, because it wouldn't have felt right to have skipped you guys. So yeah, so it's going to be awesome. I mean, it's been going so well everywhere else that we've been bringing it, and yeah, just the longest show we've done ever, the most production we've ever brought. Really, just trying to level it up, and we always have tried to, over the
Yeah.
years, but this is like a big fucking step.
Find me in the negative space. The light dies slowly in a vacuum. Burn the flash and lock me in a dark room. I'm overexposed, but the picture's black. You're not like me. We're perfect strangers.
Maybe the right kind of time. You know what I mean? Like the right kind of milestone. I mean, you've got the new record and another new
Yeah,
record. You've got anniversaries of a foundational record. You know what I mean? It just seems like everything kind of culminated at the right point that, like, yeah, you really should
yes.
go all out for this one.
Just to comment on that, like we had a conversation internally about it,
Mm.
because we went over we ran the numbers, we looked at all the production, we said, God damn, this is a lot. Like, this is a big step. We are spending a lot of money. We are doing a lot of things. This is a lot of preparation. This is a lot of work. Are we all sure we are into that? Like, are we
Mm.
ready to do this?
Yeah.
Because it's weird for me. Like, I know you're wearing a Shy Halud hoodie, and like, I come from hardcore and punk, where like, I never give a fuck what like lights a band had
Sure.
or anything. It was like I just wanted to hear the songs, and like I kind of wanted to see what amps they were using. Like I'm
Yeah.
a nerd like that. I didn't ever give a shit about anything to do with like putting on a show, really.
Yeah.
Like we'd put on shows in like a hall with just like the lights just all the way on.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been like a little bit of a tough sell to like go all in on the production, especially when I'm like, wait, what? Does anyone care? Do we really? But this time, it was like, let's do it. We're going all in. We're doing everything we can to put this over the top. Like, our fans deserve it. We deserve it. There's no, and like you said, it's the right time, and
Yeah.
it was the right time to do it, and that's what and I mean, it's really has, like, it's been worth it, because people talk, and the shows have been selling really well, and that's, I guess, that's why we do this.
Yeah. I got a couple of points to hit on that because I think you're right. Like coming from a very kind of like DIY space in hardcore punk to where the band is at now is definitely a
Yeah.
progression, both musically, but also just like career wise and where your band sits now in 2025.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you point out the last tour here in Australia with Amity as like a co-headline tour, because I was listening to some of the old records. I listened to Discovering the Waterfront, and I was thinking about the first time I saw Silverstein on a poster was in 2005 when you were touring here with I Killed the Prom Queen. And then
Yeah.
I was like getting nostalgic, and I was like, wait, I was like, that's when I graduated high school. That's when I saw the Amity Affliction for the first time
Yeah.
when they were just a local band in Brisbane. You know what I mean? And like, to think about their career progression to, getting to the point where they
Yeah.
can co-headline a tour with you guys here and the change in their live show from like a DIY basement show to like the big
Totally.
production that they have now, like very similar progression, right? What you're talking about is like
Yes.
doing this thing for so long, like eventually you kind of have to just level your shit up in just about every aspect. So
Yeah.
do you reflect on that at all? Like the origins of Silverstein to where you are
Y-
now? Like that's a
Yeah,
crazy
man.
journey.
All the time, all the time. And you know, it's funny. There, this book just came out. It's called "In Too Deep."
Mm.
It's about Canadian punk, and
Hell yeah,
you
I have
know,
to check that out.
a bunch. It just came out. It's like really, really new, which is why I'm talking about it. And there's like chapters like Sum 41 and Simple Plan and Billy Talent and you know Alex on Fire. And there's a Silverstein chapter in the book. You know.
Wow.
And it talks about the whole beginning is like my origin story of like even before Silverstein. So you know, reading that just like literally 2 days ago, it's like it's a little more fresh in my mind,
Mm.
but like I never forget where I come from, you know. And like I'm still in the fucking car listening to like Converge and like you know and Jane Doe. You know I like it's still the
Yeah.
same records. Like you know it's Poison the Well, Opposite of December. Like I'm still listening to the same shit and you know it's really funny to me sometimes you know like because obviously like I'm way older and you know a lot of things in my life are different but in at my core I'm still the same person. I'm still the same guy.
Dude,
It's
I
the
I
same
feel
things.
the exact same way.
It's the
I'm
same things.
resonating so hard.
Yeah, the same things still like make me tick, you know. But back to what you're saying about Amity, I think that's a really good comparison because they are very similar. Like I think Joel and I are the same age,
Mm.
and you know, we grew up like with the same, different, completely different continents, but with very, you know, similar, you know, things that we were into.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
we both find ourselves as singers of bands that have like blown up. And I mean, Amity way more mainstream than we are with all their success, you know, like on the top of the charts and you know in Australia and everything. But like it's true, like to you know to see them, you know, pull out this big show, all the stops, you know, and all the production, but like still you know treat us so good like put us in the same hotels that they're in you know
Yeah,
and like rent a boat out in Sydney Harbor and we all went on a boat and like they brought us and
that's
we all
sick.
hung out like just stuff like that. It's like really like at its core like they're still you know it's still punk rock. It's still you know there's a sense of community and everything with that which is really really important you know. And no matter you know how you know many records you sell or tickets you sell or whatever it is, you still have to have, you know, that thing that makes your band who it was at the beginning and
Yeah,
you know has carried through, you know. And you know, that's the thing about us is like, you know, we still care about that. We still, you know, we don't burn bridges with people, you know what I mean? And like I'm
yeah.
still friends with all the same people that I was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So it's it's really important. It's really important for us, you know.
Enough to make me bleed. It's only human. It's only human. Drain the blood from the arm of the artist. From the arm of the artist. Drain the blood from the arm of the artist. Drain the blood from the arm of the artist. From the arm of the artist. Drain the blood from the arm of the artist. Breathe in, breathe out. Flip the switch and watch the.
I think that sense of continuity and that sense of like, I guess, kind of understanding where you come from and keeping that kind of not at the forefront necessarily, but as like a constant kind of presence in your mind is really, really, really important. I was listening to the new record, Antibloom, came out earlier this year. I was listening to that
Yeah.
this morning, and then I I had like a shot chaser experience where I listened to the first record directly after it
Oh,
to
yeah, yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like to kind of
That's
sequence like where you guys came from and where you are now.
right. I know.
And I wanted to kind of talk to you about that. I listened to your interview with Jack Bergen on Triple J here,
Okay. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
aired like yesterday or the day before, very recent. Um,
Okay.
and
I
you
think I
kind of
did I did it a while back, but yeah, I guess
okay,
it's yeah.
yeah. So I was listening to that this morning, and you have this kind of curious moment where you talk about the set being in reverse chronological order
Yeah.
as like a emo time machine is the phrase that you use.
Yeah, that's
Um,
a motherfucking emo time machine. That's
That's
right.
right. So I wanted to dig into that. Like, I'm sure that was a conversation in the band about like how best to approach this 25
Mhm.
years of noise. How did you arrive at like working backwards through time and kind of ending the set on all of the old hits? How does that kind of work? And what's the experience been like for you?
It was hotly debated, that's for sure. I'll give Billy the credit for bringing
Okay.
it to the group, the idea, and I think Billy listens to cooler music than both of us combined. He's like always like he's the cool music guy in the band.
Okay.
I think he saw some other artists do it,
Right.
and
Okay.
that's when he said, I think it could work for us. And I remember a couple of us, I won't name names, were like pretty against it at first
Ooh, okay.
because I think the fear was like you come out and you play a whole bunch of new stuff in a row,
Mm,
and then like nobody, and it's like everyone's like, oh, are they gonna play where's the old stuff? What's happening? Like,
mm,
you lose the crowd immediately.
yeah.
But what we kind of realized doing this is that we actually have some pretty like big songs that are newer.
Yeah, for sure.
And it like songs like Infinite and Afterglow are like big songs, like some of our biggest. And once people kind of figure out what we're doing,
Mm,
it sort of builds an interesting anticipation,
okay.
for what's to come. And then the end of the show is just like mayhem. It's like boom, 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 with all those old songs. So yeah, it was something that I like. I was on the fence, I'd say, and then Billy kind of sold me on it, and then I was like, I really rode with the idea, and then we wrote the set list together, and it's been going super super well. Um, yeah, but what you were saying about listening to Antibloom and then the first record right after, it is really, really funny when you do that and see how far, we've come. But that's also kind of like looking at a baby picture and, and a picture of like a 70-year-old man.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to connect the dots sometimes. You're like, that old guy is the same as that baby. But if you look at every 5 years, then
Mm,
you can see the progression. And I
yeah.
think that our albums are like that, like all of our albums, they make sense in a row. You go,
Yeah.
oh, from album.
The experience musically wasn't incredibly jarring. You know what I mean? And
No, in fact,
like it kind
sorry,
of
cut you off.
works.
Yeah, well, the thing is, in fact, so many music critics and reviewers gave a shit for not changing enough. Right? Oh, they wrote the same record over and over. Or they keep writing the same record over and over again. It's like, I don't know about that, man. You listen to record 1 and then you listen to record 6 then you listen to record 11. It's like we have changed, but I think that that's like actually a good thing if to just do that progression naturally, like not freak out your fans every time.
Yeah.
Not try to do something that you're like uncomfortable with.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of bands will make records because they think it's cool.
Mm,
Like, we don't like, we used to like hardcore. We don't like hardcore anymore. Now we're going to do the whatever shit. And it's like, it's not authentic.
no.
It's like you're trying to do something that's completely like outside the box. Like, people are saying it about the new Turnstile record that it's too much
Mm,
like Glow On. And like, in a way I know what they mean, but also like, what did you want them to do?
yeah.
Like get a whole bunch of new influences and like write a bunch of music that you really would hate?
No, and I mean they're not going to write another nonstop feeling. You know what I mean? Like they did that already. They're moving through. They're on that journey,
Yes.
and yeah,
I just hope it doesn't take them another like 4 years to make a record. But like the thing is I think like I'd never understand if a band makes a record and then people complain that the next one is too different or too similar.
yeah,
You can't win. You can't win. And all you can do is make the music that's honest to you, that that you believe in. And I think that's really what we've done every step of the way. There's never been a conversation like, what kind of record are we going to make? It just happened.
You know me well. Sometimes when I'm alone, it gets so damn hard to tell what I want from what I need. I spiral slowly down until you pull me out of the grave I dug myself. You got your finger on the trigger.
spoken about this before with other artists on the show, but there's an episode of the Hard Law podcast where Colin and Bo kind of talk about this, and they're like, what you want to do is you want to evolve, you don't want to change. You don't want to have like a drastic pivot from like say one sound to another sound, but you want to evolve just enough so that people who follow the band and listen to you can be like, okay, they're on that new shit, but
Yeah.
I can see the jump. I can see the progression. And I think listening to your catalog, like all of the records sound like Silverstein records. They don't there's no drastic outlier, there's no crazy hard pivot. And you talk about this with Jack that like, you sound like you and you're like
Yeah.
at the front of every record. So I mean like there's a
Yeah.
very consistent voice, there's a very consistent, a band approach to every record. But like you say, like you're trying different stuff, you're doing different songs, you're evolving from record to record, which is what you should do. And I mean, you're
Right.
25 years into this, like what do you, what are you going to do? Go back and write something like 2003? Come on, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, I will say this though. With our new record, Pink Moon, that's coming out in September,
Yes.
there are a couple songs on that record that are pretty throwbacky.
Okay, I was going to get into
And
this. I was going
and
to say if you're kind of like bringing that nostalgia into a record, perhaps.
I think we were pushing it away a little bit.
Mm,
And I think that like for the last maybe 2 or 3 records, I think it would be like like I'll pick up a guitar
mhm.
and like we all have our good like guitar things. Like you pick up a guitar and you kind of just like play the same sort of like chords you're familiar with just to start, right?
Yeah.
And if you were to just start writing a song, you'd probably use those chords and you'd probably use the rhythms that you just are comfortable with or whatever, right? And then it was like for a while there, it's like, well, I have to actively not do that. I have to actively not do what's natural to me because I've done it so many times before.
Yeah.
And that's like boring or stock, or it's just going to end up sounding like the same as stuff. Like, you were right. All the songs on all the records are different.
Yeah.
That is true, right? But you don't want to write the same song.
No.
But I had this writing session, and that's a whole thing too, is that I started doing some sessions with like some producers and some songwriters in LA because I'm out in Vegas now.
Okay.
And I never did that before. And I did this one session. I don't want to say which one it was, but
Mhm.
and it wasn't a particularly good session. Like most of them I actually find have been awesome. Like people are on the ball and like really excited to do it and they have great ideas and they're really pushing me and it's like a really great experience. And this one was kind of like, I don't know. And I didn't really have like I wasn't all that inspired that day and I just kind of wrote what I would pick up a guitar the first thing that I played.
Yeah.
And then somebody was like, that's kind of cool. I was like, all right, well, all right. And then over time, that thing became really good and really familiar. Like it really does. Doesn't sound like any one of our songs exactly, but it has that era, like that essence of like something that you would hear on Discovering the Waterfront.
Yeah.
And
cool.
I like was a little bit worried because I was like, okay, I'm going to play this for the guys. And I have a feeling that they might not like it because it's going to be too like on the nose or something like that,
Sure.
too basic, too whatever. We've done it before. And everyone was kind of like, no, I kind of like that it's got this throwback. Like, and then I was like, okay. And then I really took it all the way and I expanded on it. And I was like, what would I have done in 2006? Like, how would I have approached the bridge?
Yeah.
Like, what would I have done? I'm going to do lead guitars. Like, I'm doing octave chords, like that. They were all over our first 2 records. I'm doing octave chords again. Like lately, I haven't done as many, and like a lot of stuff like that. And then that song just became this kind of, it became special. It became like, it felt new, but old. And that was like a hard thing to do. So I think that we've really done a kind of a cool job of like now just like throwing away the rule book completely. Like it was for a while. It was like there's like things you don't do in punk rock. Like we don't put synthesizers in our music. Like we can't put this many backup vocals, or we're not using programmed drums. Like these things that like, and eventually we were just like, well, why the fuck not? Yeah. And we started doing them, and then it became like, oh well, we can't do this because we did it before. Now it's like, well, we can take elements of things we've done before. We don't need to, like you said about that other podcast. It's like we can do things we've done before but evolve, and I think that that's really where maybe now we've found this kind of perfect balance of everything with these 2 records.
And I think it speaks to the idea of like the longer you do this, the more kind of experience you get performing and writing and recording. But you're also going to add tools to your kind of toolkit, right? And like if adding synth or adding program drums or whatever helps to like enhance and build out the sound, you can always strip things back. But at least you've got all those tools. So now, like when you go to write some new stuff, like you can push and pull in different directions. So I think like that's a good thing. Like you always want more tools.
Yeah.
You want more stuff to work with. Like why restrict yourself when you've got all these
Right.
options available?
Yeah, I'm a Makita man. I got lots of tools. But no, like, but I mean it. Like, you're right. I think the part of the reason that we used, so many octave chords in the first like 2, 3, 4 records was because that was the way we knew how to make stuff sound big
Yeah.
and epic. Like, I don't know if people even know what I mean with an octave chord, but like, listen to No Effects and they're all over the songs. Like
Yeah.
that sound and like that was what we knew to do to make it sound big because we didn't know how to add, any programming or anything like that, right? Like I remember the first bass drop I ever heard. And it was a Newfound Glory song. On self-titled record. Yeah, self-titled record. And I was like, what the fuck is that? There's like a big boom in there. That's like not from a drum set, and then it was just things like that. And I was like, okay, well that's cool. Like that is cool thing to add. That's obviously not real, but that's cool. Like, right? So what other things are there that we can use that are not real but cool? Like there's a fine line, right? Between that, Like I remember Mark Trombino putting like tambourine on our songs and me being like, oh, I don't know, that's a little lame maybe. And then but it's like no, like it's in there, it's tasteful and it brightens things up and it's like it's a cool level. So you're right about like the tools and figuring them out, and we have as we've gone, and I think we've gotten just way less picky about like this shit and being like, well, let's try it, because I used to be unwilling to try things because they weren't, because it wasn't like punk rock or it wasn't whatever, I don't know. And now it's like everybody's doing it, it sounds good, and like it's going to make the song better. Then what the hell am I worried about,
How bad could it get? It's better to know you keep it together, but I'm worse than alone. I'm worse than alone. It's just a matter of time before it happens again. A part of me loves when there's a hole in my chest. Live and die by the letdown when worse comes to
We're coming to the end of the slot here, so I'll try and wrap things up. I'll have links in the show description for people to get tickets to the tour here in Australia.
Yes, please.
Suggest they come out and see this emo time machine in action.
That's right.
To kind of wrap things up, you're obviously a fellow podcaster yourself. You're very familiar with this kind of landscape. But I wanted to ask you, like, what are you listening to? What are you checking out? What has you excited when it comes to music, podcasts? What's in your earphones?
Great question. Well, if anybody hasn't heard Converge Jane Doe, that's a place to start there.
I highly suggest they check that out.
It's funny. I have a few nephews, and I was trying to get them into some good music because they like the weirdest shit. Like they like really weird old music. Like my oldest nephew, he's like a really, really, really kick-ass guitar player.
Okay.
And he was like playing something, and I was like, oh, what is that? And he's like, you don't know? And it was like some deep cut from some like Ozzy record in like the 80s.
Whoa,
like really into Ozzy, like Van Halen, his favorite band. I'm like, okay, like so I made him this playlist of like, like Converge, and I put some like punk rock, and it was basically like punk hardcore, like maybe like At the Gates, like some metal there too, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of got me like back into like some of the things that I love, because I made this for him a few years ago. But if we're talking new bands, and maybe you'll edit it right there. If we're talking new bands, there's a band from Australia I absolutely love called Bloom.
Oh yeah, they're great.
I think they might be blowing up right now. We're bringing them out on our US tour, which we just announced. We brought them out on a tour in Europe, and they're just like the best guys and super good band. And like, they have a cool, like sort of throwback thing, but modern. I really like them. I really like the Callous Cowboys. If you like crazy
Oh,
music,
man, that new
that's
record is so good.
it's
Insane.
so good. They've never missed, but now they've just like all the parts have come together in a really really awesome way.
It's so
Uh,
good.
I love the Callous Cowboys. There's a band called Pink Shift that I really like, kind of like very political. Um, from Baltimore.
Okay.
They were kind of like noisy punk, but now they have like riffs. They like the guy got a 7-string and now it's like kind of like heavy and riffy.
Okay.
It's sort
I'm
of
into that.
cool, female fronted. I really like this band too. Yeah, so I don't know. There's just a few. I could probably rhyme off like 20, but you know, those are just a few new bands that I think some people maybe haven't heard yet, and uh, 3 quite different bands too.
Yeah, fuck yeah. No, that's sick. And I think like it's cool to be so versed in this kind of community, right? And like you've been doing this a long time, you've got a bunch of different avenues, but to still listen to new music and to find joy in it and be like, "Oh, this is really sick. Like I got to check that out." Like that for me is like one of the greatest joys of doing
Yeah.
this sort of stuff. Is like
Well,
you can
I
be
still hate most of it. I mean, but the difference is now it like there's no time investment. It's like literally like I just go on an app that I pay
Mm,
$10 for and I can listen
it
to
gives it to
everything.
you.
It's
Yeah.
insane, you know, like to listen to whatever. But like, you know, because back in the day, you're close enough to my age, like you remember having to track down a CD because you
Dude.
heard about a band in a magazine. You've
Yeah.
no idea. You can't hear the band. You have to just pony up like probably 30 Australian dollars to get a CD or
Yeah, I
25
remember.
Canadian.
Yeah.
And then you get the CD and you're like, it's okay. I don't really like it, whatever. And then you're stuck with it, you know?
It was
And
a risk. You had to
it
like
was a
you had,
risk. There's
had to
no
put the
risk
risk
now.
down. Yeah.
No, so I'm like, shit. If people don't hear a new band, it's like, what are you just lazy? Like,
Yeah,
get off
100%.
TikTok and get on Spotify or Apple and like listen to music because it's there.
Better
There's no
yet, go to
excuse
a
not to
show.
listen to it.
Go to a show and watch the opener. That's the
Yeah.
greatest thing you can do, you
Oh,
know?
that was the hack back in the day for
Yeah.
sure. You know, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Look,
100%.
Shane, thank you so much for taking some time with me. This has been sick. And
Fun
yeah,
conversation. Yeah. Thank you for having me, man. Are you going to be coming out to any of the shows? Are you available?
I'm gonna try and get to some of those shows. Yeah, for sure.
Sweet. Okay. Well, let me know. I'd love to see you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hello, Owen popping in to say, please sign up for the TPD Patreon. This is what helps us keep the lights on and keep the show going. The link is at the bottom of your screen right now, patreon.com/tpdpod. All of our patrons get exclusive access to Side B of our roundup episodes, so you get a few extra tracks, as well as our feature album discussion and the full show experience. Our patrons also get exclusive access to behind the scenes, off the cuff chit chat from all of our guest episodes. But the patrons are the ones who make all of this happen. For as little as $5 a month, you can sign up to the TPD Patreon, and it really helps us out, really helps us keep the show going. So shout out to all of our patrons, shout out to our executive producer patrons. You're the real ones. And yeah, thank you so much for watching the show.